The white page syndrome, or simply art block. Why does that even happen? Well, hello there, I'm Detroit. If there was a trick to avoid art block, I would tell it to you right now. That would be a very short video, however, I would gladly do it. Unfortunately, I haven't yet unraveled all the secrets and mysteries of the universe, and art block is definitely one. Have a time to take a deep breath and subscribe for weekly art videos. I'm sure the answer is in there somewhere, or maybe it will come soon. Art block can, from my point of view, come in quite a few different forms. 4 to be precise. Form 1 is finding it excruciatingly hard to start. Your canvas is blank and you feel so empty that even touching the pen to the paper is something you find really hard to do. Form 2 is having an idea in mind, but no matter how you approach it, you can't seem to make it work. It is frustrating to see an image in your mind but not being able to replicate it. Form 3 is a nuance of the latter form. It is when nothing you do clicks, when you have a bad art day, or more than a day sometimes. You're going through the motions, doing everything right like you have for maybe years, but it's simply not working today. And finally, Form 4 is when you are barely leaving your comfort zone on intention, and the impossibility to do something good slaps you so hard you can't help but go back to your precious comfort zone. Judging from these definitions I made up, I would say that Form 1, the complete block, is the hardest to overcome, but it's not the worst. Form 3 is the most frustrating for sure, because it feels like years of exercising that sweet hand-eye coordination and wrist control is completely gone, just like that, in a snap. But I'm confident in saying that Form 4 is the most dangerous of them all. If you can't surpass art block's 4th form, then your progress as an artist may be seriously impeded. It literally represents your ability to progress and renew yourself. This digital drawing inspired me to write this video about art block. For a bit of context, recently I have been drawing a lot of figures because I want to improve my skills of drawing people. I've been doing it a lot and I'm getting a bit tired of it for now. In 2 weeks from now, I will be leaving town on a physics-related research trip for 6 days, and this video will be uploaded during that time. I figured it would be a good opportunity to draw something other than a character, and I was also a bit pressured by time. I had to make the drawing now so I could have the time to write a script, edit the video and upload it before I leave. And that's where art block Form 1 struck. My blank Photoshop canvas was open, right there on my digital tablet, but I couldn't draw. Fixating on drawing something other than a character messed up my flow and all my ideas were gone. I'm usually bursting with inspiration, but there, nothing. I sat at my desk, grabbed my pen, only to drop it and stand up 2 minutes later. Then I did that again, and again and again, maybe 10 times. I can't tell you really how I managed to finally draw a line. Maybe because I wanted to draw buildings, I decided I would start with a straight vertical line. That I could do with no pressure. And this is how it started. I sketched a few buildings and gradually the inspiration came and I found an idea to pursue. Now I had an idea of what the illustration was going to be. I wanted a clean, almost minimalistic poster of a city skyline at night with the moon. It wasn't a complete picture in my mind, but I had something. I filled the buildings, gave them depth with one-point perspective, and that's when I discovered the 3rd form of art block, the bad art day form. It felt like I did everything in the way I usually did them, and yet I wasn't convinced. It felt bad. Am I bad at art? Do I even have art skills? I dropped my stylus again and got away from the tablet for a minute. Then sat down and repeated it. You get the gist of it. Turns out it wasn't just Form 3, but also Form 2 of art block. As I was trying to draw, the picture in my mind was forming. I wanted the shape of the moon behind the buildings to be seen on the buildings by playing with the light. But how do I do that? I tried different tools and coloring the buildings differently within the circle of the moon. Does the circle need to be lighter or darker? Should I really have used a gradient on the buildings from dark at the back to light at the front? Did it make sense in terms of light? I had so many questions. I tried everything but couldn't find the right way to achieve what I wanted. This is infinitely frustrating. You make a choice and it's bad. Then you reverse it and do the opposite, and it is still as bad. I figured the shading of the buildings didn't matter because the focus would be lit windows. Using the rulers in Photoshop, I made a large panel of windows, then applied it to each building. And then the questions came back. What should I do with them? I tried keeping the windows that were lit only within the circle of the moon, and then I decided on the opposite. As I already told you, nothing seemed to work. And I'm not even talking about the color scheme. From start to finish, I didn't know what colors to use. The buildings were orange when I first made the clipping masks, then I turned them shades of green. You'll see at the end that they end up bluish purple. The illustration is finished now, but I'm still not convinced. And that's when I found out that it all related to the fourth form of art block I defined earlier. This was a comfort zone problem. You see, I rarely do minimalistic posters. The last one I did was the Apocalypse travel poster, and for that one I had a clear idea of the shapes, the mood, the style and the colors. For this present one, I had no idea of any of that before starting. To make you understand how far I was from my comfort zone, you should know that I almost didn't use my stylus. I mostly used the mouse and keyboard and did little to no painting. It's really different from what I usually do, and I relied more heavily on Photoshop tools rather than my own skills. I really was out of my comfort zone. And that's coming from a guy who prides himself on trying new art styles every other week. I would say there's no definitive way to avoid art block. Sometimes it's just like that and there's nothing you can do. However, I believe it's good to understand it. This is why I broke the concept down to the 4 forms I talked about. Apprehending them one at a time makes it look like a smaller series of obstacles rather than a huge wall on your path. Art block is bound to happen, but you're also bound to overcome it at some point. The key objective is to learn from it, and instead of retreating back for fear of being confronted to it, you should take a step forward. See it as unlocking an achievement. For example, now this illustration serves as a basis to build upon to make minimalistic posters for me. If I were to remake the same picture, it would look better next time. In fact, I think I'll make more things in that style. Not in video form, but I'll post it to my Instagram at d3_sd and to my Twitter at d3. I hope this analysis of art block helps you in your art journey. You're more than welcome to subscribe so we can go on that journey together. Like the video and tell me in the comments what it's like for you when you get art block and if you agree with the ideas I developed in this video. I'm D3 and you are a proud artist. Bye!